Worm castings all promise miracle soil, but which bag actually helped our tomatoes, peppers, greens, and basil for a full season? Welcome to RootInsect.com.
And not in a perfect little greenhouse fantasy either. This was real raised bed gardening. Flea beetles, dry July heat, clogged drip tubing, and one deeply disrespectful groundhog.
I still blame the groundhog for my missing basil.
You blame the groundhog for everything, but yes, this was a practical test. We used Wiggle Worm Soil Builder worm castings, Uncle Jim's Worm Farm Pure worm castings, and Worm Bliss across vegetable beds for the whole growing season.
And the big question was pretty simple. If someone has peppers, tomatoes, greens, and herbs in raised beds, which bag is actually worth buying again?
For most gardeners, I'd say Wiggle Worm. It wasn't the flashiest in the hand, but it gave the best balance of plant response, bag size, texture, and value.
That 15-pound bag matters more than people think. Worm castings vanish fast when you start adding a scoop to every transplant hole.
Exactly. A quarter cup to a half cup per tomato, pepper, basil, kale, or chard start doesn't sound like much. But then you've got 18 tomato plants, 20-something peppers, cucumbers, herbs, and those "I'll just tuck this in here" extras we all pretend won't count.
I feel personally attacked by the parsley comment.
You should. Wiggle worms spread nicely, scratched into the soil well, and didn't turn into weird wet bricks. It was easy to use in transplant holes, as a mid-season side dressing, and even mixed into potting soil.
Uncle Jim's, though, had the best first impression. I picked that bag up and thought, now this looks rich.
It did. Uncle Jim's had that darker, denser, chocolate cake texture gardeners get weirdly emotional about. And in our beds, it seemed to give the strongest early leafy growth, especially on greens and basil.
So why didn't it win?
The 10-pound bag. It's a good product, but if you're feeding multiple raised beds, the cost climbs quickly. I'd use Uncle Jim's for seed starting, container plants, or a small high-value bed. But for regular vegetable garden use, Wiggle Worm stretched farther.
Worm Bliss was the surprise for me. I expected it to be the background character.
Same. It performed well. The plants looked healthy, and I wouldn't tell someone they made a bad choice if they bought it. It just didn't beat Wiggle Worm on repeatability or overall value across the season.
One thing I liked about the test is that we didn't dump absurd amounts of castings into the beds just to force a result.
Right, because that's not how most people should use them. We used roughly a quarter to a half cup in transplant holes, a loose handful scratched into the top inch around established plants, and about 1 part castings to 5 parts potting mix for backup seedlings.
And the beds were pretty normal raised beds, too. 4x8 cedar boxes about 14 inches deep, with a long history of compost, leaf mold, aged manure compost, and that tragic screen topsoil from 2019.
Brown clay with ambition.
Still hurts.
The important takeaway is that worm castings are a boost, not a complete soil plan. Compost, mulch, moisture, minerals, and steady watering matter more than any single bagged amendment.
So if someone's standing in the aisle trying to pick one, your practical advice is?
Buy Wiggle Worm if you want the safest, all-around choice for vegetable beds. Buy Uncle Jim's if you want that richer texture and you're working on a smaller scale. Try Worm Bliss if the price is good or it's what's available, because it's still a solid option.
And don't expect castings to fix bad watering, compacted soil, or a groundhog with a grudge.
Sadly, no worm casting on Earth can fix that groundhog.
Final verdict from our season. Wiggle Worm is the bag we'd buy again for tomatoes, peppers, greens, basil, and general raised bed use.
Thank you for listening to this edition of RootInsect.com. Conversations with Grant and Fiona.